Hello everybody, welcome back to another video of the review. So now this iconic aircraft, this is the world's most iconic aircraft of World War II. This is the North American P-51, nicknamed the Mustang. So as you know, in 1940, this was going to be built by North American as a license-built P-40. But what happened was they knew that they couldn't make the P-40, the North American Aviation, so instead they made a whole entirely new design, and they called it the nickname the Mustang, and it was originally built for the British. So as you know, this plane was actually first flew in 1940, and it became nicknamed the Mustang. The earlier model was a P-51A, which actually had the different engine, which is not this engine. It was a different engine, which was actually called the Allison V1710 piston engine, the same one that powered the P-40 as well, and even the P-38 Lightning, and even the P-63 King Cobra, and even more Allied aircraft. So after it was built, when they found out that the A model Mustang couldn't reach at higher altitudes to escort bombers to like Berlin and back, or even from Iwo Jima to Japan, home islands and back. So when they developed the B model Mustang, which was kind of like a Razorback, which means had a different fuselage canopy. And the only difference is the fact they put the Merlin engine on it, which was the Rolls-Royce Merlin, and it would be the American license-built Packard Merlin engine. And these did so much successful that most of the fighter groups everywhere in the world that the Allies had were equipped with Mustangs. So so this particular Mustang is one of the most famous ones. This is the bubble top D model Mustang. The real difference is the fact that they put the bubble canopy on it to make sure that the pilot sees everywhere wherever it's going, or even if it checks it's 6 like that. So this is the D model Mustang. It's a really great Mustang, by the way. I saw a bunch of these Mustangs before in person because I've been into 7 air shows my life. Last time I saw one was I saw it last Saturday because I was at an air show in Reading that they do every year called the World War II Weekend Air Show. And I would tell you, the Mustang was really beautiful to see. Every time I go there, I love seeing the Mustang and even hearing its Rolls-Royce Merlin as well. And as you know, these wings that eliminates the drag used to be called the laminar flow, and it was even to be faster than the P-40 and even the British Spitfire as well. So this was very famous because the fact that it was a long-range escort fighter aircraft. The fact that I think it was around 1943 when the first of these Mustangs did the first escorting of B-17s from England all the way to Berlin and back during World War II. So but the very famous mission actually occurred, and this is when I'm going to get to the point about talking about this particular Mustang here. So this was on March 24th, 1945, but this was from an African American organization called the Tuskegee Airmen. So they were the pilots that were unfortunately, because of segregation and everything, were not allowed to be pilots, which is not fair to them. But they proved them wrong. But this mission really proved them wrong. This was in March 24th, 1945, when the P-51s of these particular ones were led by Benjamin Davis Jr., who was kind of the whole leader of the Tuskegee Airmen, were escorting the B-17's aircraft all the way to the Daimler-Benz tank factory in Germany. And the Mustangs were escorting them. So as soon as they got into the Berlin area, they found the Messerschmitt Me-262s the streaks that were up in the air. As you know, that's the world's first operational jet, the first fighter aircraft that was ever equipped with a jet engine, the first time of new technology, of the new jet age. So, on that particular mission, as soon as the Me-262s came in for the attack runs, only 3 P-51 Mustangs was able to shot down 3 of the Me-262s, which is an incredible thing, despite that a piston engine aircraft could shoot down a jet, which is I find it really bizarre. But this particular one even did shot down a German jet. This particular one is piloted by another Tuskegee Airman pilot named Roscoe Brown, who he himself was one of the 3 pilots who shot down the German jet. The other 2 pilots were Charles Brantley and who's the other one's name? Earl Lane as well. These were the 3 P-51s that managed to shoot down those 3 German jets. And for that heroic action, though, during that mission, they received the distinguished the Presidential Unit Citation, and the guys were really so happy for that. And another fun fact about that mission is the fact that this was the longest escort mission of the entire war, because it was 1,600 miles from Ramitelli, Italy, all the way to Berlin and back. That's how many miles they went, which is bizarre. But the longest regular escort missions of the war occurred in 1945, when most of these P-51s would take off from the island that we took over, which was Iwo Jima, and they would escort the bigger B-29s that came from the Tinian in the Marianas, and they would escort them all the way to Japan, to the Japanese home islands, do some bombings there, strafing Japanese airfields. And in one occasion, actually, this was actually considered the one last combat mission of World War II, which was on August of 1945, on the day that Hirohito had actually had ended the war officially because of the atomic bombings that happened in 1945. This one occasion was actually one P-51 named Jerome Jerry Yellen, a New Jersey native, whom he's considered the pilot who flew the last combat mission during World War II, while he was strafing a Japanese airfield near Tokyo until they got the word that the war was over. But anyways, really an iconic aircraft, huh? I hope I get to see these P-51s again forever and ever, and I know these things will never, ever retire. These things are going to be in the air for air shows forever. Even if it will be more than 100 years, I know for sure it will be the greatest aircraft that will be anywhere in the world you could see it. But anyway, hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm gonna see you next time.